Bawku Naba and have a conversation with him. It's good to have you this morning on the show, sir.
Hello.
Hello, Maxwell. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm hoping you're doing well.
I'm well by the grace of God. How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks for asking. Can you bring us up to speed with the latest with respect to what's happening in Bawku, if you're able to?
Okay, so first, good morning again. I hear you read some communique that is supposed to be coming from the Mamprugu Traditional Council.
Yes.
And that they are condemning some statement from government.
Yes.
I don't know, are they suggesting that the Nairi, with the greatest of respect, is above the law, and that if you are Nairi and you do things that are contrary to the law shouldn't take its course? I think that is unfortunate. It doesn't promote the rule of law and good governance in any society. You know, we've all agreed that we would live under the laws of the land. So I should think that what they should have been addressing is whether or not what the Nairi did is in tandem with the laws of the land, and whether or not what he did is capable of endangering lives and property in Bawku, or whether or not it is capable of restoring the peace of Bawku. And clearly, the events that happened in Nalerigo on that fateful day is recipe for disaster in Bawku. And we think that it is unfortunate that people, no mean people than people of their stature, will seek to be justifying and glorifying acts that can cause the loss of lives. If you are a chief in Ghana, you lord over people, you superintend over people. Now, if your actions are leading to the deaths of the people, what kind of people are you going to be superintending over? So I think that statement is unfortunate. It leaves much to be desired, and it ought, with the greatest of respect, not to be coming from such an esteemed body. Now, back to your question. Bawku is calm, and it's calm because we who are of the Kusasi stock have decided to let the rule of law prevail and not to take matters into our own hands. You would recall that it was the purported enskinment which was done by the Nairi that led government to issue all of those statements and went to court to look for the warrant of arrest for those people who were involved in that matter. Look, the President Bawku Naba has been Bawku Naba for about 39 years. And you just get up one afternoon and say you have skinned a chief. Don't you think that was enough to have angered the teeming youth of the Kusasi, who are, by the way, the vast majority of the area, to have gotten up in arms and done all manner of things? But we have restrained ourselves. And we haven't taken to burning of tires, to blocking roads, and all of that. Now, they just went to court to issue a warrant of arrest. Any law-abiding citizen would have gone to the police or to the court to say, I hear you have issued a warrant of arrest against me. What is the problem? Then they explain to you what your offense is, and then whatever you have to say in your defense, you say it. But they issue a warrant of arrest for someone, and then you get up in arms and you block roads and you burn tires. I think that with the greatest of respect, is unfortunate. And again, it leaves much to be desired, you know. But Bawku, as we speak, is quite calm. I must admit that the peace in Bawku is an uneasy one. There's some tension in the air, but we keep telling our brothers and our sisters to remain calm, and then we'll see where the ends of justice will take us to.
Do you happen to know the whereabouts of the newly enskined chief? Would you happen to know?
No, I will not happen to know at all. What I know is that there's still a warrant of arrest on his head, and I think that if he's law-abiding, if he really seeks to come and govern in any way or form, I think that he should demonstrate that he's a law-abiding person, submit himself to the authorities, be interrogated. If he has a case, he would absolve himself. I don't understand why people just think that, and that is the problem why we have the kinds of problems that we have in Bawku and by extension Ghana. When people seems to think that they are above the law, that as for them they are untouchable, I mean, we have a problem. You know, you have submitted yourself to the law. So if your subject, that somebody comes to tell you that your subject has done something that the authorities think that has violated the law, Is that the kind of advice you're going to give to your subject, that run away, don't submit yourself to the law, and you want to govern people? With what laws are you going to govern them? I don't know where he is, but I think that if he really, really thinks of himself a leader, he should demonstrate that leadership and present himself to the authorities.
It's interesting that you mentioned that the warrant of arrest is still in effect, but the reports that we have read suggest otherwise. We understand that it's been revoked.
No, what happened is that it has been
valid. Okay.
The
I
first warrant of arrest that that was issued was on the heads of the Nairi, his kingmakers, and the man who is purported to have been skinned. I think that I've seen that the variation was in relation to the Nairi and his kingmakers. As for that other Alaji Abagre, his warrant was not varied. So the arrest warrant, in my view, is still in effect.
Do you think that security agencies, as we speak, are indeed searching and ready to effect an arrest?
Well, I think that's a question that they should be able to answer. I can only hazard a guess. I think that as much as I appreciate the role and the efforts of government and the security agencies, I think that we can still do more to demonstrate, if for nothing at all, to demonstrate that no one in our jurisdiction is above the law. Look, if you're a private citizen and somebody accuses you of committing some offense, I have seen people who have been in court, they stand trial for years, only to end up and be acquitted and discharged. What is their remedy? I know the law provides some procedure where you can go to the Supreme Court and ask for compensation and all of that, but it's a long shot. But normal citizens present themselves before the courts, present themselves before the police when they are accused or alleged to have committed offenses. They go through the trial, and then whatever their defense is, they put it forward. If it is true, they are exonerated. At the end of the day, I should think that the Nairi and his people, with the greatest of respect to them, should present themselves to the authority. And then if they are able to absolve themselves, then they can now be talking of, you having accused us wrongly, so come and apologize, and then we condemn that and all of that. But just the mere fact that somebody has been caught to have alleged to have violated some law, you are up in arms. I think that we all should rather be condemning them.
You are a lawyer, and I know that for most lawyers, litigation is not the first choice for you when it comes to legal issues. You'd rather want to resolve the issues amicably. Do you sincerely believe the path to go is that of the announcement by the government as to the arrest of the individuals who participated in this whole activity?
Yeah, so first, legal processes and finding amicable resolution to resolve a matter can always go hand in hand. We have been in courts and several times where, while the matter is ongoing, the parties meet to see if they can have an out-of-court settlement. So for me, I don't think that that is a difficult position at all. But secondly, you see, the fact is that you are dealing with a people who think that if things are not done their way, they will never accept anything less. This matter didn't start today. As far back as in 1957, when the Kusas determined that we were going to have self-governance in keeping with Ghana's own independence, the Kusas skinned Bawku Naba Abugrago Azoka the first. The Mampusis rose up in arms. The then departing governor said that, well, let me put together a committee to determine whether or not you are the rightful people to be chiefs of Bawku or not. They put up that committee. It was chaired by no mean a person than a certain Justice Safari, with the then Domahene and the Tumukuru Lorry Canton as members. They came to a very fine conclusion that Abugrago Azoka had been validly elected and skinned as Bawku Naba. The Mampusis disagreed. They fought the matter in court. It traveled all the way to the Court of Appeal, which was the highest court of the land at the time, in 1958. The Court of Appeal came to a decision that Abugrago Azoka was the rightful Bawku Naba. The Mampusis said, we won't agree. Now, NLC came and promulgated some law called NLCD 112, which skinned many chiefs in Ghana, about 500 of them. Their only offense is that they felt that those chiefs were allies of Kwame Nkrumah, that they supported Kwame Nkrumah. So the military junta just distilled them. The Kusasis didn't take to arms. They wrote petitions upon petitions until PNDC came and promulgated PNDC Law 75 to restore the Kusasis back to the status quo. Now, from then, Bawku was quite peaceful until 2001, when Amampusis, who are seen to be largely MPP in Bawku, when they felt that MPP had won power, they took to arms and Bawku was in chaos. Again, there was peace efforts. We went to Damango. People, after a long deliberation, they came to the agreement that, look, the present Bawku Naba is the rightful Bawku Naba, and that everybody should accord him the necessary respect. One of the Mampusi people who signed that accord, it will interest you to know, was the present Alhaji Urimia, who is now member of Council of State, recognizing the present Bawku Naba as Bawku Naba. They reneged on that. 2 years later, went to the Supreme Court, put forward their case. The Kusasis also put forward their case. When they looked at the case that the Kusasis had put forward, they said that, look, we cannot continue. We want the court to give us the leave to withdraw and with liberty to reapply. The court looked at the cases on both sides and said, we grant you liberty to withdraw, but don't come back to us under either PNDC Law 75 or Articles 270 and 277, which deal with chieftaincy matters in Ghana. They went home. They will not be satisfied with that. Recently, what has led to all of this chaos is that they got up and said that they wanted to perform some funeral of a certain man who died many years ago. The police looked at it and said, if you do this funeral, you would cause problems in Bawku. So they went to court, secured an injunction to restrain them. They defied the injunction, performed the funeral. Nothing happened to them. You know, governments upon governments have made pronouncements about the status of the Bawku skin, but they just won't agree. So how else do you deal with such a group of people who think that anything but them shouldn't work?
All right.
You know, I am a Kusasi man. What you are saying is that the President Bawku Naba is a paramount chief. He has 25 divisions under him. What you are saying is that you want a Mampusi man to go and be chief of Bawku, so that if me, who comes from Zebila, if my skin is vacant and I want to be skinned, I have to go to him with an interpreter because I don't speak Mampuli. Do you see my point? In any case, Bawku is not a Mampusi land. It's clearly Kusasi land. And if you care to take a drive there, if you are brave enough, you would see, just by the demographic characteristics of the town, you would see where the Mampusi settlers are. You would see that they are bounded left, right, center by Kusasi settlements. Yet they say that we should allow them to rule over us. In this 21st century, 2023, my brother,